MotorWeek is made possible by RockAuto.com.
When most people think of Japanese car companies, they think of the giants like Honda and Toyota. But there's an entire second rank of Japanese companies that are less well known. Companies such as Isuzu, Subaru, and Daihatsu. These companies follow their own path, frequently a different one than their giant corporate countrymen. Take Isuzu, for instance. This company actually sells more trucks in the U.S. than cars. And while Isuzu is proud of its success with American truck lovers, moving a few more cars would be nice. That's where this car comes in. It's the 1990 Impulse, a totally new design that Isuzu hopes will bring a lot more car buyers into their fold. And Isuzu is trying to do it by positioning the Impulse at the lower middle end of the sports coupe market. Listen to this quote from the Isuzu press kit. While other automakers continue with an unbridled race towards excessive size and horsepower and unrestrained cost for dubious technology, Isuzu is determined to provide practical levels of performance at conscionable prices. Sounds great, but our test car came with a price tag of $13,954. The base price is $11,999. Conscionable perhaps, and very affordable, but not cheap. In the matter of performance, our Impulse XS needed 9.2 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. The quarter mile took 16.8 seconds and ended at 83 miles per hour. While considerably faster than most sedans, this level of acceleration certainly meets Isuzu's claim of practical. And there's an even brighter side to that practicality. Buy an Impulse and you're likely to get along better with your insurance company. Your agent won't blink an eye when you tell him the engine is only a 1.6 liter. Small as it is, it makes a healthy amount of power, 130 horses. As with many 16-valve 4s, the engine must be revved high to get at that power. Peak power comes at 6,800 RPM, and at that speed the engine is also making lots of noise. The 5-speed gearbox, though, is a joy, with fairly short throws and precise action. The clutch isn't as nice, feeling mushy and engaging late in the pedal's travel. For terminating travel, the Impulse gets 4-wheel disc brakes. Anti-lock brakes are not offered. Even so, the Impulse impressed us, stopping straight and in a reasonable distance, 130 feet on average. There was some minor wheel locking, and we noted that it was more difficult to avert lockup as the brakes grew hotter, but overall performance was good. As for handling, overall cornering power is good, but the Impulse doesn't behave as we expect front-drive cars to behave. It takes to a tight turn like a high-performance sports car, throwing its tail end out. The lifting inside rear wheel looks bad, but is barely felt. Manners like these are entertainment for the skilled driver, but they can be frightening for the uninitiated. At higher speed, we noted excellent steering response and less of a tendency to slide at the rear. The Handling by Lotus badge is well deserved. Isuzu has provided a very responsive behavior for the Impulse, something few other practical cars have. If the Impulse reminds you a lot of the Geo Storm, it should. The car shares its platform and most of its looks with the Geo. But the Impulse has a more traditional nose treatment and consequently seems confused. Its front end is in the 80s, while its rear end is in the 90s. Things are unusual on the inside too. The standard cloth fabric has color-keyed inserts for the front seats, but the rear seat has only solid color fabric. The dash is clean, wide, and functional. It's set far forward for a cabin with a spacious feel. Plastic quality is good and better than the Geo Storm we tested almost 2 years ago. The gauges are no-nonsense analog with clear legible faces. The paint around the hidden door latches is bound to take a beating, but the driver won't if he or she is in a frontal collision, thanks to a standard airbag. Seat adjustments are all manual, and so are the shoulder harnesses, but 6-foot drivers may have a problem with headroom. Some of the buttons and switches on the dash are hidden by the steering wheel, but all are easy to reach. Lights and wipers operate from pods above either side of the wheel. Heat and ventilation controls are basic. Air conditioning is a $750 option. Power windows are part of the Sport package, but they're located too far away from the driver for easy operation. As for passengers, there's so little room in the rear seat that no one on our staff wanted to stay here long enough to be videotaped. But here's the best way to make use of the rear seat: fold it down. Cargo room is rather limited unless you do this anyway. The Isuzu Impulse is EPA rated at 26 city, 34 highway. Our car returned 26 miles per gallon in typical driving, and the Impulse had a ride smoothness of cars with a much longer wheelbase. In our safety check, the Impulse XS passes with a driver airbag and rear shoulder belts. True to its class, it fails to offer anti-lock brakes or a front passenger airbag. Our list of hits starts with the driver's side airbag and comfortable ride, things we're not used to in a car this small or inexpensive. We also like the Impulse's quick steering response and precise shifter. For misses, we note the vague-feeling clutch, limited cargo and rear passenger room, and awkward front-end styling. For comparison, Honda's CRX-SI is a smaller two-seat only car, but it offers more cargo room, livelier acceleration, and a price that's lower by about $1,500. But its ride is not as comfortable as that of the Impulse, and its styling is dated. The slick-looking Ford Probe LX equipped like the Impulse would cost about $1,000 more. It offers a powerful V6 engine and much more rear passenger and cargo room, but its fuel economy is not as good. The Impulse clearly fits between the CRX and the Probe in price and size. But being in the middle, the Impulse also combines many of the best aspects of each in a package that should appeal strongly to first-time car buyers. While not a true sports car for the budget-minded, the Isuzu Impulse will likely be perceived as one.